Today, we're not just looking at history, we're going to put you right inside it. Using real historical accounts, we're going to see what life was really like for a noble girl in the 15th century. This isn't her story, this is your story.
Just imagine it. One minute, you're a child, running around, playing in your family's garden. The next, men in fancy clothes who smell like horses and wine are standing in your home. One of them kneels down, not to you, but to your father, and unrolls a piece of parchment. Your father reads it, and then he looks at you. And just like that, everything, I mean everything, changes. The life you knew? It's gone. Your wooden dolls are put away, your governess tells you that ladies don't play with toys, and instead of hearing fairy tales, you're learning deep curtsies that make your knees ache on the cold floor, and you're trying to wrap your tongue around French phrases. You're being prepared for something.
Well, that piece of parchment, that was a marriage contract. Your father just traded you to make a deal, to secure an alliance. You're not just his daughter anymore. You're an asset, a piece of property whose entire value is tied up in your ability to have a son one day.
This timeline, this is the brutal path that's now laid out in front of you. It's a life filled with milestones, sure, but not the kind any child should ever have to think about. Let's walk through it. It doesn't take long for the inspections to start. A whole line of serious-faced doctors and midwives come into your room. They press their hands on your stomach, muttering about your breeding potential. Your body? It's not your own anymore. It's an investment, and they're here to check on it. You're standing in a cold, drafty chapel. The dress you're wearing is so heavy and scratchy, it feels like it weighs more than you do. You are 7 years old. And the man standing next to you, the groom whose breath smells like old ale and who looks you over like your livestock at a market, he's 32. The ceremony feels like you can't breathe. In that moment, your childhood is officially over. For the next few years, you live in this really strange, lonely world. You're not quite a wife, but you're definitely not a child anymore. You sleep alone, which is a relief, but it's also incredibly isolating. And every single month, the court doctors examine you just to announce to a room full of men that you're not yet ready. When you're 10, you get shipped off to your husband's court. On the surface, it's all embroidery lessons and learning to dance. But underneath, oh, it's nasty. The ladies in waiting whisper behind their fans, and their gossip is this constant cruel noise in the background of your life. You become their favorite target. The doll wife, that's what they call you, laughing at your braids. His older mistresses are even worse, circling you like wolves, spreading rumors that you can't have children or that you're cursed. You learn pretty quickly that this waiting period isn't for your benefit. It's a kind of psychological torture. Then, at 12, it happens. The first blood. That stain on your bedsheet seals your fate. The news spreads through the court like a fire. Your husband calls for you, his face all red with wine and excitement. And the court? They're not even whispering anymore. They're openly laughing, saying you're ready. Ready for something that feels like an execution. And at 13, the night finally comes. The older women get you ready, and their advice is either useless or just plain terrifying. A laughing crowd of nobles literally marches you to the bedroom. The experience it's everything you were afraid of. It's painful. And you lie there afterwards feeling completely broken, realizing this is what marriage is. 6 months later, you're pregnant. You're just doing your duty, right? The doctors treat you like you're nothing more than a precious air container. Labor starts right before your 15th birthday. There are no drugs, just some herbs that do almost nothing for the pain. It lasts for 36 hours. You barely survive it. The baby, a boy, doesn't. He only lives for 4 hours. And as you're lying there bleeding and sick with fever, your grief doesn't matter at all. Your husband is just furious about his lost heir. He actually demands you try again before you've even had a chance to heal. A year later, your husband dies from a fever. You're 15, and for the first time in what feels like forever, you're on your own. But that freedom, it's an illusion. It lasts for exactly 3 months. Then, your brother-in-law shows up with another marriage contract. Your womb, he tells you, is still valuable real estate. And so the cycle just repeats itself. By the time you're 22, you don't even recognize yourself. You've buried 2 husbands, you've given birth to 4 children. Your body is just a wreck. Your health is gone. And in the eyes of the court, you're considered worn out. So this is the path everyone expects you to follow. Your second husband dies, and almost immediately, a third marriage proposal lands in your lap. Another old lord looking for a proven breeder. The expectation is crystal clear. You will just keep doing this until it kills you. But then, you do something absolutely radical.
something nobody sees coming. You say no. For the very first time in your life, you make your own choice. Your children, the ones who survived, they give you some power. Your lands give you money. You choose yourself. You choose your own path.
You know, that 7-year-old girl who had her dolls taken away? I think she'd be proud. You survived by learning the rules of a brutal game, and then, when you finally could, you refused to play anymore. Which leaves us with a question that still echoes today. How much does someone have to endure before they can finally claim a life of their own?